Well, hey, everybody. How are you? It's Chris Storch II from the Chattanooga Film Festival, welcoming you to one of my favorite things that I'm going to get to do this weekend, which is a Q&A with one of my dear friends and our mayor, David Lawson Jr., in support of one of my favorite films of the year, no less. And again, every one of those responses we read in the intro was true. And then one of you fuckers went and guessed Tremors 4 after that intro played. So you just kept it rolling, which actually is like, I appreciate that joke so much that like, I kind of like, my hat is off to you. I salute you, sir. I figured for those of you that had seen it at Sundance, you didn't get the Rick part. So that's exclusive to CFF, the little Rickery that we did. But anyway, without further ado, it's great to have Dave in here, and it's great to have a chance to share this film and talk about it a little bit, and especially the wild process by which you guys approached the making.
Oh,
are we not live yet?
Oh no, we are. We are.
Cool. I can hear Dustin from the studio say, "I have one more graphic to fire," and I was like, "Have I just been talking to the void for this entire time?" Again during CFF.
I mean, isn't all CFF just you talking?
No, it's just like me in the hall, just like walking around, having darkly existential thoughts aloud. Yeah, sure, there's an element of that, but there's great cinema too. So with that in mind, man, tell us a little bit about the genesis of this project, because I don't really know. Like, it felt to me like you and I had a conversation, and then a week or two later, you were like, Justin and Aaron have this new thing that we're working on. I think it's going to be pretty wild. And then it kind of went from there. So let's go origin story here.
Yeah. So I guess, let's like kind of back up into April of 2020, April of 2020. Obviously, world kind of shut down for a bit. We had a bunch of projects that were really far along that got it became untenable to make them in a way that made sense both health-wise and fiscally. And so, we kept trying to figure out ways that we could maybe do it. Is there, could we go somewhere else? Is there a way to kind of make it safe and make one of these ideas safe enough? And then, this kept going on. And then one of the thoughts that just kept coming back to the three of us, and this is we always I mean, we're kind of the company that's make movies with your friends. Literally, we fucking have shirts that say it.
Look at that! Then that merchandise is available for purchase after the Q&A, ladies and gentlemen. We're going QVC this fucking year. We're gonna put a little number up on the bottom of your screen.
Yeah, exactly. No, so order it. So as we were doing that, we're like, man, we're the team, we're the guys that, like, when you come to us with like, hey, how do I make my first movie? We're like, just go fucking do it. And that kept kind of rolling through our heads as we were taking these meetings on other projects that weren't going along. And then this idea is something that we've been kicking around for a minute, and it's a exploration of truth and misinformation and conspiracy theories and rabbit holes and how dangerous they can all be, and putting our own little spin on it. And then we got to really thinking about it, and we're like, how small could we do this? There was like a hot second where Justin and Aaron were like, can we shoot this with just the two of us on set? And they actually did a little test on it, and it went fairly well, and they could shoot a scene with just the two of them very effectively. However, what we realized is that three people was really kind of, when two of them are the leads, three people is kind of the smallest we could do this with.
I thought you were going to say the loneliest number, but
no, exactly.
That's fine too.
And so although the running joke was one more person throughout the filming of this, we were like, what we could really use? One more person.
I said that in our control room just moments ago. It's a feeling I can deeply fucking relate to.
You know what I really need right now? Just like one more person.
Couple folks.
One more set of hands.
Get them in here. Get them some
more set of hands. Anyway, yeah, and so that was it. And then this idea is something that a lot of some previous scripts that Justin has written ideas and themes kind of got plucked from those and put into this one. And a lot of, if the dialogue, for anybody that knows Los Angeles, if the dialogue feels like something you've heard in a bar.
Oh, I mean, shit, speaking of bars, you've got Rustic in there. Your namesake is featured in a shot in the film. I know you pointed that out in the chat, but I had to point it out again for anybody that might not have seen it. Like, the wings at Rustic Inn influenced the name of your entire fucking company. That's pretty amazing.
That bar was the first place that the three of us ever had our first meeting. We prepped Resolution out of their back room during the daytime when it's closed. And so it is that. So when we were talking about like, oh, we need to get shots of Aaron kind of scooting around East Hollywood, Los Feliz area, we were like, well, we need that shot. Like, there's no way we don't put that in. And there's a ton of Easter eggs in this.
Oh,
movie.
for sure.
We literally, so we shot this over the course of 20 days in October, and then we shot a couple days of pickups and then a couple days of inserts. A lot of the stock footage that you saw, we actually shot that. So we had 3 days where we just shot stock footage after our edit was locked. We're like, okay, we need a tiny little grail and a tiny little and a tiny.
So you bring up the timeline on the stock footage, and I don't know this either. What was your full shoot time on this? What did you just pick away at it a little at a time? Did you really block it?
We schedule it. Most of the movie is shot over the course of 20 days, and it was concurrent, just like a regular schedule. And then we came back for a day of pickups. So a couple things that we like. Once Justin and Aaron kind of saw the first assembly at it, we're like, oh, there's a couple things we're missing. And then we shot 3 days of stock footage while they were gone shooting Moon Knight with the second unit. And then when they came back, we shot one final day that is just Easter eggs. So there is one day of our shoot that was quite literally just to put Easter eggs in this movie. And it was a full day.
Man, Easter egg day sounds fucking fun to me. And speaking of Easter egg, nobody found that hidden page on the website. And I'm so sad. Like, you gave them a net clue in our intro, and they could have been clicking shit this whole time and maybe won a badge. But yeah, we actually, hilariously enough, I've been completely lying to all of you, which is to say that within all the wrong guesses that were in that Gmail account, there were a ton of you that guessed this film and were very excited to see this film. And I just had to fucking just blank-eyed lie to you this entire time. And I'm very sorry for that. But I really love the person who guessed Uncle Buck. That made me very happy. But, you know, I got to say, in the case of this, obviously they'd cast themselves in the Endless, and they knew, and I know that was kind of necessity. It's like you guys had a piece of land you could use. You guys have always figured it out. How do we make a movie with the resources and the people we have? Did the fact that they acted in that empower them to try it again? Like, was that what made them cast themselves again? Or was there any permutation of this where maybe you guys were trying to cast outside? Or was it always like, yeah, this has got to be Justin and Aaron?
Yeah, this was always built for Justin and Aaron to play the leads. Again, we were trying to see how small we could do it.
And clearly your role, attractive man on cell phone, completely written for you. So yes,
it was very much written for me. Funny enough, during the rest of that whole sequence, I was shooting the camera with the sound gear on my back, except for that one shot where I get to walk by on a cell phone, in which Aaron operated. But no, it was always written for them. I thought they did a wonderful job in the Endless. I think that this to me was their best performances of
man. Yeah, you saw people responding to that in the Discord chat where people were just like, I think somebody said, you know, that line reading, chef's kiss. Like, they really know, obviously no one knows their words and their stories better than them. So I love that continues to be a thing that they're doing. And obviously the scope of this was always limited. Was there ever a version of it that did get a bit bigger, or that you had a bigger cast for? This was always kind of this bottle episode?
Always. I mean, you know, you have to remember that we shot this in October, so no vaccine. coming up on like the first real big wave of coronavirus that kind of
right. So safety protocols don't really even exist or haven't been come up with for sets at this point, probably.
No,
right?
they existed and we adhered to them, but that was kind of the reason we're, there are other people in the film, but we, by design had them sitting, doing, that's kind of the idea of the doc portion where we could bring in other people and other sets, but do it in a way that's safe because
right.
We don't have people interacting. Justin, Aaron, and I and our households all kind of potted together. And we were still testing regularly, but basically nobody else in our household went anywhere except we would go to Justin or Aaron's house to shoot. Right. But that was like the only place that the three of us went for that entire month.
And just like the Endless, that's your location story here. That's really there where they live and everything.
Yeah. I mean, for anybody that caught the Q&A at Sundance, we literally did it in front of the closet. That's Justin's apartment.
That's great.
Yeah. So he lived on set for a month, which was good and bad. It was good because he didn't have anywhere to travel, but bad because all the gear was in his house. And so his bedroom was also where we kept the grip and electric and camera gear. And so it was just like stacked full of stuff. And then just like a small pathway, like imagine like Hoarders crew member edition. And there was just like a small pathway to his bed and a small pathway to his dresser.
Have we got any questions coming in from the chat here?
No.
Some questions for Mayor Dave. No one has questions for Mayor Dave.
No, people are still halfway through it. So,
well, that's right. We're doing it early, so that's fine. Fuck them. Yeah. But yeah, I want to know also just from the standpoint of, I guess, we know now that you guys have camera will travel kind of. Can we expect more of these kind of, I don't know if it's fair to call it a surprise project, but there's obviously so much creativity within the Rustic camp. Is the hope in the future to continue to just, if you get a few months between projects, to try to launch something else out there, or what?
It's funny, Justin and Aaron are currently working on Loki season 2. And a lot of people were really, really upset when that got announced, because they were like, oh no, we lost another one to Marvel. And I can tell you, quite honestly, nothing could be further from the truth. We still wholeheartedly intend on making projects like this until we are no longer able to make projects anymore. We will always find a way to make something weird and make something small. I kind of alluded to it on the intro. Like this was a really special experience for the three of us, getting to work together in a small group. I think that Justin and Aaron's performances are so good because of how small we were able to keep these crews and how intimate we were able to keep the sets. And it just,
that level of shorthand they have with each other cannot be duplicated in any. And I bet you get a little bit of a removal from that with every other person that enters the room, for sure. Did I hear the chiming of a question come through there?
Yeah, it looks like Elise, the director of The Ones You Didn't Burn, is volunteering to be one more person if we ever need it.
That's very kind of her, and that gives me an incredible opportunity to plug The Ones You Didn't Burn. For those of you that haven't watched it yet, you should absolutely check that out. And you guys probably know this already, but Rustic were kind enough to put a couple of films in our hands this year that we were really excited to share with you guys. And again, this is the Something in the Dirt Q&A, so I don't want to take away from it too much, but I know these were projects and filmmakers that were special to you. Can you talk a little bit about how The Ones You Didn't Burn team and the Breathing Happy team sort of came into your orbit? Obviously, Shane had been in the Endless, so that's kind of an organic thing. I'd love to know.
Shane's been in a lot of our movies. Shane was in the Endless. Shane was in Spring. Shane was in Synchronic. Shane is one of Aaron's childhood friends. And Justin and Aaron are obviously voices in Breathing Happy. I helped produce kind of from afar for Breathing Happy. And so for me, it was always that was always one that I was just really proud of how that turned out for Shane. I think he's a super talented filmmaker. The one
fan of Papa Roach as well, which is
that was so good. I love his
that last resort needle drop delight just among the audience. You could feel the ripples.
And the ones you didn't burn, I'm friends with one of the actors, Samuel. Him and I met at a film festival called Sitges.
That's Sam Dunning. Yeah.
And we met at Sitges, and he was like, "Hey, I've got these filmmakers, and they've got a film that they put together, and I think it's kind of up your alley." And that was last September. And after I saw it, I was like, "This is something special and something cool, and very much something that." There's some live stream questions in the live stream. Okay, there we go. I got it.
Cool. And one more thing before we get to those, when you do finish this answer, I've got for you. And I don't even know. Can you talk a little about? And you may not be able to talk about it, so I'll approach it vaguely. I think Rustic is doing a lot of really cool things, and not just in the realm of just typical independent filmmaking. You just finished a project with Gustavo Cooper, who has the film The Angst, the short, playing here this week. Can you talk a little about that? Because to me, that's a really important and special piece of work. If you can't, it's okay.
Not quite yet, but I do promise when we start doing rounds for when we're allowed to start doing rounds for press on this, when the release is later this fall, we will be actually able to talk about it. And it's a really cool project, and something I think a lot of the CFF folk are going to really.
I think so too. And I'm sorry I put you on the spot.
So no, it's okay. Okay. How the hell did you shoot the scene where Hell is coming out of the closet from Evan Jordan?
That's a great question, Evan Jordan.
That was actually shot on our Easter egg day, and we wanted to kind of do an homage to the rope in The Endless, the struggle. For anybody that remembers, I think I have a video of it somewhere. But essentially, there's me in a closet with a fan and a light, and then the rope is tied to a pole that is jammed into the ceiling, and then I'm waving a piece of cardboard in front of the light and throwing fake snow into the fan while it blows on Justin and Aaron. Fun side effect: don't ever do that, because that fake snow is actually just tiny pieces of plastic, and they were all in Justin's eye. And so yeah, no, it was we were like, oh, this is not good. You mentioned misinformation.
And man, you've really been willing to get down and dirty into the trenches with those practical effects. Like on the set of After Midnight, there is a large portion of that film that Dave is just under a couch making some things happen. You were laying under the couch, and we all had our little parts on the set that we would jiggle to make it look like the monster ran by, but you were pretty much under the couch producing your ass off. So.
I mean, that's the thing. I really I love that aspect of filmmaking. I love getting dirty, and I love like having fun making a project. And so for me, doing stuff like that is actually
and that's a thing. I think it's very important. It's like, I think when people see that Justin and Aaron and Rustic have gone on to such huge things, and that Loki is now happening, and that they did so much with Moon Knight, it's so refreshing to see that no part of you guys have lost. And again, I have to quote this because it's been used to describe something in the dirt. Is, I believe you said, somebody told me once that it was gutter punk sci-fi.
Oh, no, garage punk sci-fi.
Garage punk sci-fi, which is even better. So I like that side of you guys is going nowhere, and it's clear that it's not. And I wanted to. This is less of a question and more just me kissing your ass, because I love that. I really do. It's nice to see experiments come out. That you guys just try things continually, and that's great.
I mean, I think that we will continue to do our version of garage. When somebody said garage punk sci-fi, it was in a.
You were like, put it on the t-shirts, get it on the web store.
Oh, it's gonna be there. It was in a review of this film out of Sundance, and I was like, I'm so fucking into that, because to me that's like, I don't know, it's kind of what we do. It's like this unbridled love. It can be lo-fi at times, but not in a way that feels disingenuous or cheap. It's just like, oh, that's just how we had to do it.
Leaning into lo-fi is literally the only thing we have here at CFF. So I think, maybe I can smell my own. I don't know, but
very much.
I appreciate that very much.
We do have a couple of questions from the chat.
Yeah.
McGreedy, who, funny enough, I don't know if he knows this, but in the original script for the thing, the character's name was Mac Reddy. It was not McCready, it was Mac Reddy. Anyway.
You drop in thing fun facts. You're better than Fathom Events right there with the way you presented some information about the thing correctly.
So, I mean, our aspect ratio is a little wrong. Maybe we could add a little bit more onto the border to shrink us a little bit more. But was there anything too crazy we came across when doing research, trying to come up with points of reference? Man, trying to do research on misinformation in the mid 2000s was a fucking, or not in the mid 2000s, sorry, mid 2020 was a
dark time to be researching this particular time. And this is from the gentleman who still is our multiversesavior.org still live on the internet?
Oh yeah, if you go to our website, rustic.film, you can actually, that link is still up there. It's a hidden link on our website. So it's funny that you did the net thing, because we kind of did a similar thing.
I was trying to rip you off, ripping the net off is what it was. So it's just, it's all cyclical.
It's not
all for Sandy P. So
it's an homage.
Yeah.
There was a lot, and I think it's tough because real information and fake information looks the same now. Like news and opinion are presented, like facts of news and facts of and opinions are presented in the same way. And you really have to, I think that, Chris, I know you and I are the same age. Like we came along in a time where like we had to like learn about sources. And
we had to learn stuff, you asshole.
But no, you need to kind of like,
Yeah, I don't need to go to the library and have bibliographies for our fucking paper in college. MLA format.
Right. And so it's like whenever I see something that seems a little too hard to believe, or a little bit, or even a little bit that's like too exactly what I want to read at a certain point, I'll like then try to find that source other ways, just to make sure like because I'm like, I don't want to just be living in this like echo chamber of like, oh, that's exactly what I want to hear. Because that's easy, and it's I think that's the biggest thing.
Everyone needs to be challenged, absolutely.
Yeah, you should, like when you find you find your opinion or dissenting opinions, go and try to search out like, okay, multiple sources that are all reputable, kind of giving the same information. Because if you can't find that, then the chances are that what you're reading might not be exactly on the level. Hey, somebody just pulled up the Multiverse Savior, just a screen grab of our Multiverse Savior.
That's beautiful. And again, when we showed The Endless a few years back, we made everyone who watched that screening join a cult before the screening, and you guys got off light with the Rickroll. We had some people that thought that was straight up fucking holy sacrament on that day and refused to walk into the screening because they were like, this is binding. If I eat this lemon cookie, you're telling me is a cult induction wafer, this isn't going to go well. Thank you for always participating in our reindeer games.
It's about as binding as most religious traditions. So
at least sure.
If it's something you believe in, I guess
If that's true, those people haven't been tithing to the Church of CFF at all, and I would really love them to, just so we can do more. But yeah, man, I really appreciate you guys constantly being down to not only let us present your films, but to let us present them in creative ways, which is like, for me, CFF has always been the kind of film festival that if I could, we'd do a screening of Speed on a bus and make that bus go 50 miles an hour the whole time. And
55.
Well, that's Sammy Hagar, and we don't talk about Sammy Hagar here in the Diamond Dave fucking camp that is CFF. So, but yeah, I guess if we have any other questions from the chat, let's get into them. But
we do. We have the promo image of the Endless being in something in the dirt as Arcadian. My headcanon, and the rest is that the rest of the Benson Moorhead cinematic universe was created after John, Aaron's character, decided to keep going further and further down the rabbit hole in his exploration of truth. This is obviously what happens, right? Yeah, man, I love when people start
digging their own rabbit holes. Yeah,
digging the own rabbit hole of the Moorhead Benson cinematic universe, or the Shitty Carl cinematic universe,
the Smiling Dave cinematic universe, the SDCU as we now refer to it. Look at that! It's got merch. It's
well, no, this is somebody made this for me, and by that I mean I made it for myself.
I recall that. I wasn't going to tell anyone that. No, I was going to pretend like Funko with fucking Mondo. Who knows?
We do have Shitty Carl cinematic universe mugs that were lovingly designed by the people.
Have Marvel approved that?
Not sure they did.
Yeah, good. Let's hope they don't. No one's going to watch this. Never mind. Yeah, no one from Marvel. You're safe.
Please come for our profits.
Come on, motherfucker.
I've got lots of debt I can happily give you. No, it is really fun. I think it's really wonderful, and we've known it over the last couple movies that like this kind of like micro cinematic universe thing is kind of something that's unique to us. I don't know, and maybe there is, but I don't know too many other people who are kind of doing this like tiny little cinematic universe where all their films tie into one another. And for us, it just keeps it really interesting. And for people that love the film, it gives us like a little chance to kind of give them nods, because we personally love as viewers, like finding Easter eggs in games or books or movies or whatever. Like I love that. I love being like I mean, somebody pointed out the Mandy reference in The Ones You Didn't Burn, and I was like, Elise and I and Estelle were so happy that people got that, and I was like,
oh, it's so fucking great. It's perfect.
Of course they did. It's CFF audience. Like I knew this audience was like in tune with that film. But yeah, so this I'm not gonna exactly say where this fits in the cinematic universe yet, because
this is phase one.
This is I will say there are bigger plans in the universe, and who knows when those plans will kind of get enacted, and but it's yeah. How about that? We'll just leave that at that.
That's beautiful. Well, we got time for one more. Has anybody else out there got something wonderful for us?
Oh, well, I think the chat is a little bit... Okay, so this one's a tough one. Is this entity that spans across all their films geocentric, or could it pop up anywhere?
So you now need to define the exact parameters of this entity. Just perfectly.
Here's what I'll say in answering this. I won't define it as one entity, because I don't necessarily know that it is one entity, because that in itself may be a bit misleading, or it also could be just different facets of the same entity. And some of it is geo-specific, and others is not geo-specific. So I guess the answer is it could pop up anywhere sometimes.
I feel like that's a beautifully put answer to a pretty damn tough question, for sure, man. But I love that question. Whoever sent that, that's awesome.
Oh yeah, that was a good one. I had to get that one in.
Well, man, it's obviously this isn't the last that we're going to see of our beloved mayor, who's now 10 pies fucking deep into getting smashed in the face when we return to the ground.
Oh, we're at 10 pies?
We're at 10 pies deep. Our beloved Christina Arts made a very generous donation today. And thank you guys so much. We're literally like $3,000 away from being able to return to the ground for our 10th anniversary of the CFF. And that's huge. So
can I say, if we make it to our goal by the end of, was it Tuesday or whatever the end of the last day is, can we do a Nickelodeon slime bucket on me?
I mean, did you have to ask? Yes, we can.
Okay, great. So if we make our goal, Nickelodeon slime bucket.
You have to say "I don't know" in a Canadian accent too, and we'll just fucking do the whole thing.
There's no other way to get the slime bucket to fall. I wish I had a slime bucket prepped right now that would have just dropped it when I said "I don't know."
God, I had that and the Nickelodeon moon boots as a kid, and you know what? I didn't save them. This is bullshit. But let's talk one more time. Just I got to give you one more chance to plug all the rad rustic merch that is happening.
I mean, now. If you're a fan, rustic.film/shop. We've got a bunch of like cool stuff. I don't know. It's cool to us. We've got cool little stickers.
It's cool because you guys have taken the world building there too. And you know, it's nice to be able to hear you talk about this collection of films as having this lore and this world building between it. And we have people asking about geospecificity. I can't say the word specificity. You know, I think it's really cool that even these kind of thoughts can be generated by this film, and I love it a lot. And
we're big fans. And if people keep checking up on the shop, we're gonna drop limited edition posters that are going to be fan art that we turn into official posters for our films and split the proceeds with the artists. Also, we're doing 10% of all of our profits go to a charity, just like right off the top. So yeah, head on over if you want. And then yeah.
And I think it's a fair time to say this. I did check the voter records. Bex did vote for you. And I feel like it's really disingenuous that she's fucking lying about it in public now. She's going to deny it again on Discord right now. Your nickname's been fucked with. It's really uncool. It's really unfair.
I just think that there's definitely an abuse of power going on, but it's okay.
She's trying to make a recall happen, and it isn't going to.
I'm above all of that, and the people know who give them what they want.
You know what, Mayor? Just hats off to you for staying above the corruption and for keeping the good ship CFF sailing straight toward the fucking horizon. God bless you, sir.
Is it toward the horizon or the toilet bowl?
I don't fucking know about boats, Dave. That was just a friendship metaphor. God damn it, we derailed it all at the end. You fucked up the dismount. One more final toast to our mayor before we go here, and a final toast to all of you on Discord. You've been a wonderful family for us this weekend, and thanks so much to everybody who's been a part of CFF so far. We've got some more fun stuff for you tonight. Please stick around. Dave, thanks again so much for letting us do this and letting us have this film for our audience, the second audience that's had an opportunity to watch it.
I'm so happy that we were able to do this because honestly, like I said, this audience has been the CFF audience has always been special to us, and there was no way we weren't playing it here.
Oh man, well, thank you so much. Love you, buddy, and we'll see you very soon on the Discord. You ready for them pies?
Thanks.